Back in the spring, Travis Williams said that your experience helping coach receivers for a little bit in the NFL was something that stood out about you. Just what was that experience like, and what do you feel like you learned from it?
It was tough. Learn being on offense for a year is eye-opening. Usually when you're coaching a position, you see your 11 guys on your respective side of the football. When I went to offense, I was able to see all 22 at that point. And so learning how it's like a puzzle, learning how the pieces fit, and then learning what receivers like to do, because I've been in those meeting rooms, I coached it, and then now I'm like a double agent. Now I'm saying, okay, this is what they're trying to do. This is how we can attack them. We play defense for a living, and at cornerback, we always want to take the fight to them. I don't want to play defense for 60 minutes. I want to play a little offense. That's fun as well.
We've like talking to Marcus. His communication skills seem to be pretty strong. What's your relationship with Marcus like back there?
Man, he's very wise. He's been around the block. He's coached at numerous places, and he brings a lot of wisdom and experience. And I just love when he speaks. When he speaks, everybody listens. And then I learn a lot from him as I go along the way. And he brings a certain calmness to the room and to the secondary. So Coach Woodson has been fantastic to me, been fantastic to the players. And we're definitely getting the best version of Marcus Woodson.
You've had to prepare for Petrino offenses, at least in 2010 and 11, maybe some other games. But what kind of hallmarks, what kind of things do you see out of Petrino offense that make it tough?
It's whatever the flavor of the week is. He's very creative. He's very unique. And I think that is why he's one of the brightest offensive minds in football, and everybody has respect for Coach Petrino. And, he's going to dial him up. We see it every single day, so it's strap it up and let's go.
Coach, some people are concerned that, with Andrew Armstrong going to pros, 78 catches, then so many, like the top 9 receivers are all gone from last year. But what have you seen from receivers, and what can you tell people who are worried about the receiver room? You go against those guys every day, and
we're out there pushing each other. Like we said we have a lot of big corners. We have a lot of speed, on the offense, and so they're making it hard for us. If you come to any of the practices, they're doing their thing as well, and it's back and forth.
Speaking of size, Antonio Jordan, what were your thoughts against him? On Antonio.
Just like a lot of players we did a great job of recruiting. We brought in some guys that I believe can really help this team, whether now or in the future. So I think the future is always bright for Jordan.
Anybody in particular giving you guys fits at wide receiver?
A different guy shows up, is what it is. They're very, very, very unique in how they use these guys. So, it just depends. Each guy is doing their thing and making plays, and, we can't take any off plays out there.
Obviously, you got a lot of competition going for it, but there is the possibility that you could go 6'4", 226 at one safety and 6'1", 222. That's a couple big safety. That's kind of like an old world look.
Yeah. It's throwback football. And whenever we have size out there and we have speed that can keep up, that's going to make it hard for offenses. They're going to have to game plan us as well.
Looks like, this isn't always how it is, but generally, like, defensive line subs more than linebackers sub more than defensive backs in games and stuff. Is that going to be difficult for you, or is there a scenario where guys play a lot just kind of even, or are you looking for your top 5?
Well, just like an NFL roster, usually you can play with up to 8 to 9 guys. So we tell the players, make it hard for us to not play you. Everybody is a starter, and everybody can find their own way on the field. And if everybody takes control of their job, they'll have a seat on the bus. So, whether we have 4 or 5 guys or we can have 8 guys out there that can all rotate, that'll be a blessing for us right there.
Kirby Smart was your defensive coordinator in Alabama, right? All 4 years?
DB coach, defensive coordinator, along as Nick Saban and Jeremy Pruitt. So, yeah, I had a woozy there.
Obviously, Kirby and Sam worked together. Did you call Coach Smart at all before accepting this job? Any research with maybe some past connections before coming here?
No, I did not. I just knew that Coach Pittman and Kirby worked together in the past, and I knew it would be a very similar experience as well from my experience down in Alabama. So I knew it was going to be structured, stern at the same time, and the way that they lead the players and what they demand from the team was going to be very similar and unique at the same time.
Coach Saban's obviously a secondary guy. What any pillars from him, from learning from him, that you're trying to carry over here into your coaching career now?
Yes, enjoy the process. This is fun. This is the best time of their lives as well. At the end of the day, they get to continue playing the game that they love, that they've been playing since they were a kid. So it can be very business-like at times, but keep the main thing to maintain is playing football is fun. And so if you don't look at it as a job, you don't look like, oh, I have to be here. Look at it as you're playing a sport that you love. You get to go to work every day and play football. I get to go to work every day and coach football. What's better than that?
You've touched on your experiences in the NFL a little bit already, but were there any lessons, experiences from your time coaching in the NFL that you've taken here now that you're trying to implement at Arkansas?
Just the details. You always want to coach your players, but you can't let anything slide. You can't fall in love with the result. You want to be able to coach your guys and coach them for the next play. So even though they got an interception, a pass breakup, a forced fumble, there was another coaching point before that. Because next time, it could be that 1 out of 10 times, it could have been a negative play and bad for the Hogs. So continue to coach for the next play. That's one of the biggest things I learned as, for myself for coaching in the NFL, because they will expose that.
Nick, what is the challenge or maybe the balance just in roster building whenever you have so much size, but at the same time, you can't sacrifice the speed in this conference?
To me, it all goes back to recruiting, and the portal and who the guys are getting. What kind of defense do you want to run? You're going to be more of a zone defense. You're going to be more of a man, press, quarters, cover 3. It's different variations. And so you have to also find the players that can fit your system or make your system fit your players. And so I think, Coach T. Will has done a great job of being very open-minded and flexible and being very unique to the roster that he does have. And so I'm excited to see what we do this year.
Given a little bit of time you spent on the other side of the ball, impressions of Taylon Green, his development, how much better he can make the defense in practice?
He can affect the game in multiple ways. You have to account for him in anything you do. And he's a big guy. He can see the field. He can make every throw on the field, and he can run. And so I think we're always in the game when we have him on the field.
I know we've asked a few times about guys who, don't maybe have their roles yet, but is there anything that you've seen from Kenai Walker and what he could maybe look like heading into the season?
Man, Kenai is high energy, high motor, all day, every day, and he brings the passion. He brings the tempo, and he has been a difference maker thus far for us as far as the impacting on the field. And so I'm excited to see how we can use him in his experience, because he's played a lot of football too. And so this is a good problem to have. Once again, we have a lot of guys that are competing and challenging to get on the field, and we're going to find a spot for everybody.
Coach, appreciate you.
All right.